Empowering listeners from the US to the UK. Live on air with Stephen Cuoco.
You're listening.
Well, it's going to be that type of day today. It's quite interesting. I believe allergy season is already kicking in because the congestion's happening and I'm already on with the tea and the lemon and honey. No sore throat or anything. It's just, the weather is changing and happy flower season, everyone. I think it's going to be coming early here on the West Coast, most definitely. You heard earlier in my shows today a lot of what's going on with AI, a lot that's happening in tech, a little bit what's happening in media. I didn't cover too much about fashion or anything. We did cover about the book that we were just talking about. And you can check out the first segment on Biz Talk Radio on biztalkradio.com. All great things also on Power 98.5 satellite radio, power985.com. If you'd like to be a guest on my show, reach out to me. UnitedAngelsDream@gmail.com. Once again, UnitedAngelsDream@gmail.com. That is also my public relation firm. It's email. And yeah, let's get you on. Let's have a great conversation, talk. If there's anything that you want to highlight about, would like to be a guest, or if you know someone that would be great to have on as a guest, reach out to me. I also have my radio host, Alicia Pisani, with Resilient You with Alicia Pisani. She's on Power 98.5 satellite radio. If you'd like to be a guest on her show, it covers a lot of things about resiliency, about passion and perseverance. It's a really great show. She has a great audience on there. And you can look on being on either one of our shows. And once again, I want to thank everyone for listening on Biz Talk Radio. I'm loving this opportunity. A big, big shout out to the team over at Biz Talk Radio and Biz TV. And thank you guys for all the love and support. We've got my good friend, also someone I'm happy to be working with, Mr. Alan Klingbeil. He's an actor, athlete, a combat sports competitor with Power Slap. And you may have seen him quite often, and we hope to see him more on Walker on the CW as a Ranger. And you can connect with him on his Instagram at the Kryptonian. That's TH3 KRYPTONIAN. And he loves anything high adrenaline. So yeah, you're going on a trip, skydiving, anything at all. What is it gonna take, Alan? Thanks for being on the show to be considered high adrenaline for you.
Man, anything that requires a little bit of danger, definitely. And thanks for having me on, Stephen. I really appreciate it. Yeah, anything that can hint towards the risk of death, I suppose, is possibly the adrenaline. Yeah, the adrenaline.
Well, yeah. God bless you, because I haven't been on a roller coaster in probably about 15 maybe 20 years. I don't know if I could handle it.
Oh, man, I love roller coasters. I don't know.
I do want to try skydiving. I'm going to tell you this. I probably will pee my pants, but I'll tell you, I may go skydiving. What is another one? Not hang gliding. What is that thing people put themselves?
Like in the squirrel suit thing? Is that what you're talking about?
I think it's a squirrel suit where you go down the line. What is that?
Oh, the zip lining?
Zip line. Oh, now that I don't think I'll be too scared by doing.
It's a little low risk. Yeah, definitely.
Hey, I'm going to be 50 this year. I'm not on my way out just yet. And I don't want to encourage it either.
You got to welcome it a little bit. You got to get used to the feeling of it.
You do. I mean, this is awesome to have you on. It's going to be more often than not. I'm looking forward to also having you on as a guest speaker, someone especially for Biz Talk Radio. I believe that you can offer a wealth of information. You have a background, isn't it? It's in cybersecurity or cyber tech?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Tell us more about it.
Yeah. So I mean, it's short and simple. I do cybersecurity for the Air Force. I serve in the Air Force, but yeah, I do have a specialty within the cybersecurity field, and specifically like network operations. So that's a little bit more focused towards defending networks and things like that. Yeah.
Is it preparing you? Does it help you when we think about how you see life? Because you're going to see life differently from us, because you're going to get trained. You're going to have experiences in a world in this way that we may not be privy to, as regular pedestrians in a world outside of this. Are you able to share any sort of insight or something that either is in the public, in the media right now, of what we can do to better safeguard ourselves? Or do you handle more higher end tech that is not privy to the public of what you guys do?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I work with many systems and things like that I can't speak to the nature of. But what I can say is, as an individual, if you use a virtual private network or a VPN, that can go a long way. If you want to use the Tor network, that's also something that can help you. And there's been advances to that. I would encourage anyone to go ahead and look into that, especially as an individual myself. I use as many safeguards as possible on my own personal devices. But yeah, I mean, if you're the average individual, that would be the best thing I could possibly throw out there for you, is make sure you have a VPN. You can also, if you have a Wi-Fi router, anything like that at home, you can always get a VPN router, and then that can increase your security as an individual as well. And then, just the simple stuff like don't reply to suspicious emails, or always verify with someone. If you get a text message, like, hey, did you send this or something, like maybe reach out through a different channel. If you get a text message has a link attached to it, maybe try and reach out through Instagram or WhatsApp or whatever you choose to use. I would always try and use another medium of communication to verify, like, hey, is this you? Or even a phone call, of course. So those are things that you can stay away from. There is a uptick in AI technology as well, I will say, with in regards to phone calls. So robocalls that sound a lot more like human beings. And so even the way they have a conversation with you is becoming more realistic. And so I will say that one of the things you need to look out for is when someone is calling you, you're not familiar with them. Obviously, a lot of people do this, which is something I do, is I let it go to voicemail if I'm not familiar with them most of the time. But if you have to pick up the phone, you're expecting an unknown caller or something like that, just stray away from giving personal information, because that can be recorded, transmitted, and then used to start various services and stuff. And then you might get a weird bill in the mail or weird emails, and then it just takes a lot to try and mitigate that on the back end. So just do your best to keep your private information private. Don't share too much online. I know that's kind of hard these days, but also especially use a virtual private network is what I would say.
The virtual private network, the VPN, does that work for everything? Like, this is what I would like to understand. So let's say if there are certain streaming platforms or certain websites that may feel that they need to track exactly what location, where you're where you're using your internet from. Is VPN, Alan, absolutely foolproof, where it blocks even the best of the best that either try to scheme, scam, get your information or whatever? Or is it only for certain level of security?
No, that's a great question, Stephen. Yeah, I would say there is that sort of back and forth with the, the data collection side of a lot of entertainment industries, as well as just any business in general, because, it helps drive their sales. So there's always this back and forth. But I use NordVPN personally, and that's not like I'm not getting paid by them to say that. I use them because they can bypass a lot of those preventative measures. But then sometimes the companies, they hire their appropriate professionals who figure out how to track that down. And so I will say that sometimes you have to turn them off for those services, but a lot of times you can isolate while keeping your VPN on. You can isolate those services and say, okay, well, I want the VPN to be shut off for, let's just say Netflix or whatever their IP is or whatever. And then you can allow that to come through that VPN. And so that leaves you still mostly safe. So I could say that some bad actor could find a way to use that opening to then I don't want to make anybody paranoid, but obviously they could get into your personal devices like your TV. Even most of the time they have microphones on them now, even your TV remotes and your webcams or whatever else you got going on. And so I would say as long as you're doing the best that you can to prevent those things, then there's really nothing to be paranoid about, because most of the time it's the path of least resistance is something that we often talk about. So if you're getting hacked by a nation state actor, there's not much you could do about it. You're going to need, it's probably not going to happen unless you're somebody that important related to something, that is of value to them. And often that's not the case for your average everyday individuals. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. But again, you can, with like regular services like Netflix or any streaming service, sometimes they pick up on the fact that, hey, you're using a virtual private network or something like that, or like you have ad blocker on and you might have to whitelist them. It is a feature that's within it, is what it's called. And anyway, so that kind of helps you keep the VPN on for everything else, but then allow you to be able to watch your shows or whatever else you do. So I don't know if that answers your question or not.
It did. And you brought up a couple good points, Alan. And just to clarify this, and once again, you're only dropping facts just so that we can safeguard ourselves. This information is not intended for anyone to use or abuse or try to do anything, unethical. But when we think of Netflix, you brought up a great point. Do they require you cannot have a VPN while streaming on their platform?
As far as I know, you're not, theoretically, you're not supposed to, right? But if you can get it to work, I would use it.
I wasn't too sure what we could specifically go for, but it's a good question, because how so much, I'm sure everyone does, where things have changed with Netflix, but at the same time, I don't think that we should be required, knowing how bad security measures of what's happening. Consider Zelle. What was it? What was it? Bank of America or something? Don't hold me to it. It was a major bank that just got hacked.
Yep. Mm-hmm. No, you're exactly right. Yeah.
So this is the point. We're talking about Zelle. I just think no matter what streaming service it is, not to be dropping just to you, Netflix, but I'm just saying any service, if someone is streaming or they've got family members or somebody is doing banking, you turn off that VPN. As far as I'm aware of, when I use the service, it is the entire network in the home. That means anyone that's using it, I can't just set a VPN through my router or through my system just on my cell phone, or let's just say my computer. It's the entire network or nothing at all.
You can, it, the way data is collected it's interesting like that, because it would be able, they would be able to identify, if I was someone on that level, right? I would be able to identify the different devices and things like that. So you could use a VPN. Everyone can use an individual VPN on their device.
Oh, they can.
Okay. Yeah. And but it is, there are, definitely. If you are connected to a Wi-Fi network, there are ways you could pick up on whether or not it's okay, well, they have 2 iPhones, 1 Android, they have a Roomba, things like that. So I would use, and that's what I'm talking about. So I use a VPN router, or something like that. That kind of helps mitigate those things, but then you do run into issues with streaming services and stuff like that. And you have to be a little tech savvy to go in and program it to be able to whitelist certain services and stuff like that. But if you're just using a VPN through your router, and then you whitelist something like that, then absolutely they'll they'll pick up anything that's connected to the network if that individual device is not using its VPN. But again, they could pick up on the fact that that device is still there. So,
and when you say, let's just, for anyone that may have a question, because I had to learn this as well and find out, when you reference, Alan, whitelist, that means you're giving approval for a certain address or a certain email or something to come through, correct?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, someone had sent me an email about 2 months ago and said, just in case if any of our emails are going into your spam, please whitelist it. And I had to go in and Google what the heck whitelisting was. And then I had to YouTube how to do it.
No joke. I mean, it's not easy. So, yeah.
All right. So that's for everyone who's like just getting all of these amazing gems. And this is what I appreciate about you. You're so multifaceted, Alan. It's incredible. And I guarantee you, especially here on Biz Talk Radio, people are going to love the information, anything of updates, anything at all. And it doesn't just have to be, tech. It can be anything. You are a wealth of information. And these are things that most people don't have the opportunity to share, especially if they're with a certain company, because depending on the contract, if there's an NDA, if there's any type of clauses or something, not that we're looking for any proprietary information from any organization or anyone that you're with, but anything that could generally help the public and genuinely, as I was originally going to say, is important, if possible.
You're too kind, Stephen. You're too kind.
I don't know if you've seen this. It reminds me of the video that I had seen on TikTok, and it was out there in the UK, and where the neighbor came over and it was on the Ring doorbell, and he was having a conversation with the guy, asking him as to why he put a password on his Wi-Fi that he's been using for several years. And the guy said that he put it on there because his internet was running slow and he couldn't understand why, and he was spending all this money, and now he knew why, because the neighbor was giving him a lecture about putting a password on his Wi-Fi. And his argument is that anything that went outside of his home was free to the public, and he should not inconvenience the public to be able to have access to the signal that went outside his home. Yeah, it was on TikTok. I was laughing hysterically.
Oh my God, that is wild.
He's like, can't we be reasonable now? He's like, you've got enough signal in your own home. He's like, whatever is not used and is coming out from your walls, is how he said it. From your walls should be something that that we should be able to use. Yeah, it was.
It's a man of the people right there.
Yes, he is. That was freaking hysterical.
My gosh.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Alan, there's a lot going. Hold on for a moment. There we go. I just had to adjust my mic for a moment. There's a lot of great things going on. We're going to have you more often than not. Once again, I definitely would like to have you on for Biz Talk Radio, because you are, once again, have a wealth of information. And I believe there are different topics that we can talk about, whether it's sports, athleticism, health, security, all of that. And definitely here on Power 98.5, we are very excited to learn more, to have more of all things Alan C. Klingbeil. I just want to say thank you. And I know it's important for you, or to you, that we add in the C in the middle, so I wanted to emphasize that.
Thank you, Steve. I really appreciate that.
Any closing thoughts?
And I'm just so thankful for the opportunity, Stephen. I think you're a phenomenal man, and I don't know why you just dropped down and gave me this opportunity, but I can't thank you enough for it. If you get a chance, give Stephen a shout out. If you're somebody of note, I think it's in your best interest to reach out and talk with Stephen. I think he can help you out a lot. I'd like to give a shout out to Walker, the cast out there. They're a phenomenal group of people. Everybody, from the top to the bottom, there is no person there that isn't of top quality, good-natured people. If they're not, they're out of there. So I want to give a shout out to them. And I'd also like to give a shout out to the United States Air Force for, just giving me the opportunity to serve this country. And thank you. So
shout out to Power Slap. Shout out to the military. Your branch is, what is it again?
The Air Force.
Air Force. Shout out to the Air Force. And yeah, thank you for all of this. I want to give a shout out to you. Honestly, it goes back to our conversation that we had before. You are where you're meant to be. You highly impressed, Michael, Michael Me with Me Too Management. And I'm grateful that, the relationship that you're building with him, who knows what that could lead to. And I can see you two working together and him representing you and, all of this of getting prepared. And for me, as I said earlier, but I'm just going to touch on this, is that I focus on, and where I'm at in my emotional mental health, Alan, is pacing myself to not rush too fast to expect that everything needs to be accomplished now. As long as we are continuing to plant these seeds, build these relationships, to me, I believe that those are results. And so with that, I want to thank you for seeing in me and believing in me, of what you do. And thank you again for the testimony and the compliment, because that means a lot. And that's why we're here. And, it reminds me of, why incredible people like you that still exist, that keep me going in this business. Because I'm going to tell you, where I'm at is I'm going to always be doing public relations. And I don't mind sharing this and putting it on record. I will always do PR. I am planning to get myself in a position to where, no matter what anybody's thoughts are about Matt Lauer, this isn't about him. Mm-hmm. It's about the fact to where he was making $20 million a year to be on TV and to be a journalist. And that's something I love to do. So I would like to be able to have best of all worlds and that I'm involved in. But I also would like to get myself in a position to where this is my full time, being a radio host, being a journalist. I'm going to be attending the FHN magazine event this week. It's actually going to be on the 8th. I mean, we're talking about NFL players, superstars, celebrities, fashion models. I mean, people that are going to be attending this. And I'm bringing my little portable equipment, and I plan to, providing it's not too loud, but the music maybe, I want to do live interviews, live right there, at this event, getting these photos. And I never thought, I'm going to close by saying this, I never thought that this would be a career path that I would ever want or would ever take. And it's just leading into that this, I believe, is my destiny. So for what it's worth, my whole point in sharing this, and to close by saying, Alan, is thank you for allowing me the opportunity to be part of your journey and to help you the way people have helped me, to open up a broader perspective for you to have more options and more availability to decide and prepare for yourself, whether the day comes when you retire with the Air Force, or if the day comes and you want to transition out of Power Slap and more into TV and film, or maybe one day you may decide to write a show or a script and turn it into a show. And I wouldn't dismiss that, because I never planned to do what I'm doing today in the way I'm doing it. So you've got a lot to look forward to.
Thank you, Stephen. I can't wait to see you take off and succeed in that. So it's going to be awesome. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your journey as well. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I got it one more time. Any closing thoughts? You did a shout out. Anything at all you want to end with? I did share your Instagram earlier. Is that the go-to for you? Where should fans and people connect?
Yeah, I think that's the best place to do it. I mean, I have a Twitter account and a Facebook profile, but I generally mostly pay attention to the Instagram. It's just quick and easy. And it's easy to manage. And so, if you want to reach out, absolutely, please do that. I'm always down for conversation. If you want a private message, and not in excess, of course, but, I definitely just want to say, if you have a chance to pursue your dreams, and you're any person out there, any person listening to this, I think as Stephen has put, and then many people in my life have put, it's just, you just have to know what you want to do, wake up every day and do everything you can to pursue those things. And it doesn't have to be one dream. It can be multiple, but you know what? Don't let anybody tell you can't do it. And if they do, just use that as fuel to keep pushing forwards, because one day you're going to succeed. One day.
I appreciate that. And what a great closing for that and for today. Thank you, Alan.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you to everyone who's tuned in to Live on Air with Stephen Cuoco on Power 98.5 satellite radio. Remember, all things Power 98.5. Download the app, tune in on Alexa. Power 98.5 is also available on Apple Music. We stream live on 6-7 other platforms like Live Radio FM, Streama, Streamitter. Where else? We just got picked up by a new one. Oh, shoot. Who was it? I don't want to take my... Should I? There was another one. It just got picked up. Let's see here. See, you don't have to have everything perfect, but I have to say I wasn't too sure or prepared of, getting everything in. One Stop Radio. So Power 98.5 is now streaming live 24/7 on One Stop Radio. They are available on Google Play. They house a lot of top radio stations. So that was just recent. With that also, where are we? Do I have it here? Another golden gem today. Oh, please tell me, where is it? And I know I did not. Here we go. I was just published on Naluda magazine. I will be sharing that link. It was just published today. It looks gorgeous. I love it. Once again, this was all about Alan Klingbeil. I was not going to be adding too much into this. Plus, I wanted to introduce him to all of you on Power 98.5 as well as Biz Talk Radio. And all things Live on Air with Stephen Cuoco on Biz Talk Radio. Head on over to biztalkradio.com. However, remember, Power 98.5 satellite radio, no matter where you're listening, both you can download the apps for free. You can listen to Power 98.5 for free to download the app. Or if you have an Apple subscription, you can listen to it there on Apple Music. Have a great day, everyone. Live well, be well, think and have good thoughts, and always remember to ask yourself, what sort of legacy and memory do you want to leave that will impact your life while you're living and even after death? Have a great day, everyone.
Friend us on your socials and let's connect.